If you're a sewer, quilter, or crafter, I know you've got lots of leftover material. We gotta do something with it. We're talking about Free February in 2023, where here at Homemade, we're gonna help you use up what you've got.
What the heck do we do with these leftover pieces?
All of these extra little squares,
What do you do with yours?
they've got to be good for something.
It's a mystery.
Register at homemade.ca if you're excited to get your scraps organized in 2023. Hi everybody, I'm Jennifer Tryon. Welcome to Free February, where we are using up our scraps. This is week 2. We spent all of January organizing our scraps. And here we are. We've got one project down. Can I reach it? Can I reach it? Fast, fast. We've got people in the studio today, so we've got helpers. Thank you. We made this one last week. We made the blocks and the box pouch tutorial we put up this week. I saw lots of you making them, so that's very cool. I love seeing all the different colors coming together, seeing everybody's scrappy blocks coming together, recognizing some of the fabrics from previous events, which is always fun. So let's just see where we've got people tuning in from tonight. Hi, everybody. Please let me know if you are a first timer or if you're a long timer. We love knowing where you're tuning in from. We've got people in from Regina. We've got Karen. Hey, Karen. Lots of people tuning in tonight. This is great.
Friends that say that they don't even sew, but they love watching your live.
Oh, that's good.
Maybe
Maybe we can inspire. Liz from Vancouver is here. Hi. And we've got Mara, we've got Candy, Kittens Cozy Creations with Kathy. All right. Sounds good. We've got to check that out. Tina is in from Newfoundland. There is Sarah from Seattle. Hi, Penny from PEI. Your craft room's looking amazing, by the way. I love seeing all those updates. Morrisburg, St. Catharines, Nipissing. This is great. London, Ontario. Everybody's saying hi to me and the team. I've got my sister, Sarah, behind the camera.
Hi, everyone.
And we've got a few friends watching in the studio tonight, so that's great. Hi, Gail. Gail's in from Hamilton. What I'm doing right here, I haven't shown you my block yet, but what I'm doing is I'm extending it. I broke my thread first thing. I've only been sewing on this thing all day, just fine. In the minute we get on, isn't that always the way? I'll just take it out and show you what I'm doing. Tonight, we're talking all about the bees. Oh, doesn't that look so nice? Don't you love it? I think it jumps off. So I had some scraps of Heather Bailey's local honey collection, and I had a fat quarter. So I had to kind of piece, so I'm Franken piecing sort of the sides here to extend this into making it a throw pillow. I think it's going to look so cute in the spring. And I'm not one to normally go for a wild background. Anybody, would say like, don't you normally just choose white on white on white? Like just make it like plain and, but this fabric was fabulous and couldn't have went better. So, we're making the bee block this week. So if you are following along in the Scrappiness is Happiness book, I think it's the first one right out of the gate is the bee block. Yeah, first one. And look at this cute, cute quilt that you can put together using just the same block, twisting the bees as they go. Or you could have them facing all the same direction. Or you could just make one. So you've got the fabric requirements for the entire quilt, or you've got it just for one block. And that's all I did was make the one block. So if you're following along in the book, and you want to do exactly what we're doing, I'm going to task you with making the bee block, or maybe you already made it. I sent out an email early this morning about what we were making tonight, and it's the bees. And I'm going to show you how to put the bee block together as a pillow tonight. But first, we're going to say hello to Amanda Brown, who is
Hello.
tonight. Tell me, I'm loving your hair.
I just got it done today.
This is like rainbow sherbet.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Was that your inspiration?
Sort of. You know, it's like anything with the corals and the pinks. I love it. So,
It's so cute.
yeah.
How do you like my bee?
I would think you must be into her bee if you like the corals and the pinks.
I love your bee. I am dying at the fact that you have this bright, beautiful background and I'm here cutting light blues.
I know. See, we've reversed today, haven't we? Because I'm normally just like, let's make it pale and barely noticeable on camera.
And
Put it
here
like
I
white
am.
on white on this table and make it impossible for people to see. But I've got lots of inspirational bees to show you because my dear friends have been making this bee quilt. So I just want and following along and have gotten way, way ahead. So I wanted to show off all of these fabulous bee blocks before we get too far ahead tonight. So if you're thinking about putting the bee together and wondering like, how would I want it to look? We've got a little pink on pink. What we'd recommend if you're doing the bee is that your darker strips, your darker scraps are saved for the main strip, the head, and the antenna. And you'll see why. You'll see why. It's harder to see if you don't. So at least it contrasts from your background. Even the blue on blue, as long as the darker blue is, look at that.
Oh,
I know, right?
oh, and that bee fabric that I want.
Yes, you better hurry on that. Look at that's wild.
Oh,
Yes. But such a great use of scraps.
yeah.
And when they're all put together. So now we've got the white. This is a white on white. It's hard to kind of see. You can see when I put my hand underneath a little bit more.
Yeah.
It's a white on white background fabric here. And so these bees, when they all come together.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable.
I know. Wait till you see the navy one. Look at this one. So cute. Coming up to my fave. It's going to come. Look, they're all gorgeous, honestly. It's hard to deny the yellow. I mean, our brains are just like programmed to accept a yellow bee, right? But I love the navy with the orange. Doesn't that look so great?
Yeah, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So lots of great inspiration here. The red and white is so, so cute. This actually has little bees on it.
It's so cute.
Awesome.
Love
Yeah,
them.
these are very well done. I can't wait to see if you guys make some bees like the bee quilt. This is going to be great.
Absolutely.
Well done. All right, I'm going to set them back here. So tonight, just to be like totally transparent, what I'm going to do here is I've made a bee block also. And the pattern for the bee is in the book. And the last thing I would want to do is sort of infringe on any, artists, makers, work. So if you've got the book and you want to follow the bee pattern, you can. But I shouldn't give away, just in, all fairness to the person who's designed this, Lori Holt. I'm not going to give you the dimensions of the bee or tell you how to make the bee. That's in the book. That's in the pattern. If you want it, then we have a few books left. You can get it. Otherwise, you can choose whatever kind of scrappy goodness you want to put together, even if it's just a patchwork, even if it's just a couple strips in a row. And tonight I'm going to show you how to turn those scraps into a pillow. And what you're going to want to make sure you do is start like this right here it's too narrow to be an effective throw pillow. So I'm going to extend it. And you can see I'm kind of franken-piecing the sides here together because I don't want to cut into any yardage because, the whole point here is that we're as scrappy as we can be.
Now, is that the size of a normal block before you put those extra 2 pieces?
I put 2 extra. If you made it from the book, it would look like this.
Okay, it would be that size.
It would be 14.5 by 14.5, which is, if you were making a throw pillow out of this, is too small.
Yeah.
Because look at what would happen to the wings. We clip his wings, right, Amanda? That would not be good.
No.
Are you working on the bee? What are you working on?
Well, I haven't finished my pouch. I have this.
Ooh!
So I have those. And talking about
gosh.
Frankensteining or Frankenbaden stuff, for the lining, just used scraps that I had that were larger.
Smart, because you want to know what? That's going to look gorgeous as the lining.
Yeah. So I'm at this point, and now I'm deciding exactly how I want to build the rest of the pouch.
And I noticed some people did like I did with the pink pouch and boxed just the bottom and left the top straight. In the tutorial that we posted, I boxed both the top. I showed a different technique to box the top and the bottom. So if you like the real boxy look, like this, that's going to be in the video tutorial. If you kind of know already how to box out a bottom of a bag, you can just straight up box out the bottom.
I boxed the bottom of like 50 bags like over Christmas. And then I took a break for 2 weeks and I came back and I tried to box the bottom on something, totally messed it up. It's like, I was like, oh yeah, then I just do this, this, and this. Like sometimes
sounds about right.
we do so many times and you're just like, no, that's not how we do it.
Yeah, like just sewing on your regular sewing machine. And then when everyone's watching you, like you just totally mess it up. And
yes,
yeah,
that's how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. I guess I should move this over so that I can be sewing and talking to you at the same time. If anyone has any questions about what's going on, just put them in the comments. You can, Sarah will be reading them out because I'm going to get sewing here because we've kind of got a lot of work to do. Like, I don't know what I'm thinking doing these projects in 1 hour. I don't know who I think I am.
You are Jennifer Tryon. You can do it all.
That means zero, I gotta say. Like, no, it doesn't always mean quickness, that's for sure.
No.
Oh, I know. The thread got caught. You know how when the thread gets caught in the slit of the thread spool? That's the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, this is proof that your sewing machine can jam or get messed up. Anybody, it doesn't matter how seasoned you are, you still have to.
It's so true.
Yeah, when you're a seasoned sewist, you still will make all those dumb mistakes every once in a while or fall trap to something. Like
you know, part of being a seasoned sewer is really just being able to troubleshoot slightly faster. That's it. You know what I mean? My lines, I'm not sure are any straighter than anyone else's. It's just that when something happens, I'm like, oh, that's what happened. Because tonight I'm using the Skyline S9. And I haven't sewn on this machine, which is, one of my favorites, for a little while because I've been using the M7. I was even using the M17. And this was the original. This is even the one that's discontinued in the light blue. Like it's an older model. She's great. Love the S9. I've got my 1/4 inch foot on here. Even though I'm extending it, I could make this, 1/2 inch or whatever. But so I'm just Franken sewing this together, which means I have a seam like here on the sides. Oh, we have a question here. What? Is your mic pack on? Both sides? Like there should be a side here too, eh? On the table? On the table? Okay, as long as they can hear me. We're gonna go, I've got a seam kind of right in the center here because I'm just piecing this together. Is that battery, do those batteries need changing? Hold on, I'm just gonna help Sarah with the audio here.
Can you hear me now?
There's not going to be anyone that can answer.
No,
Will actually answer.
on.
Both are on. This is off. Okay. Her batteries died, so she's getting it fixed. All right, there we go.
It happens to us all.
Okay. Yes. Last week we lost total power, and Amanda ran the whole show for like 25 minutes. It was amazing.
I was like, just keep talking.
So I'm sewing a 1/4 inch seam, even though I'm not quilting. I feel like I'm generally, using a 1/4 inch. You could use a 1/2 inch here, but why waste the fabric? So 1/4 inch is fine. Oh, we're going very fast. I'm gonna slow down. I can hear it.
So when you make a pillow from a block, do you line the side? Line the side. The block is on, so you cannot see the stitches.
So it's up to you. I'm just make sure this is. My bobbin's now out, so that's great. All the things that can happen. Okay, so let's answer her question. Do you line as in put a stabilizer on the back like we did with the pouch? Is that what, let me just read the question. Can I see it here? When you make a pillow from a block, do you line the side of the block? Do you line the side the block is on?
Or maybe the
so
back?
Yeah.
The inside.
Yeah, the inside. Yeah, for sure the inside. I think with this one, like I was even considering putting batting so that I could quilt it. It might look kind of cute as a quilted pillow. Amanda, what do you think? Do you think that there may be too much going on because of the stripe on this fabric to quilt it, or what do you think?
No, I would put the batting on the back and I would quilt it, but I would keep it super simple, like straight lines, wavy lines, something like that. But because that's going to kind of help hide any of the extra seams that you have going on there.
Yeah, because I do have lots of seams. I've got one here and I got here because it's scrappy, right? Even though I'm using like the similar fabric, it's still scrappy. It's just all the same. It's just all the same fabric.
Yeah.
So that just means it's clear.
We have it from Dana in Calgary. Did you use interfacing?
No, I haven't yet, but that's a very good question because we did use interfacing, the fusible interfacing on the back of the pouch. And I do think if you're not going to quilt it, then it's probably a good idea to use a bit of interfacing because it's going to give the pillow a little bit more structure. Amanda, what do you think?
Yeah, like I find with a throw pillow, if you're using quilting cotton, you need something more, another layer of something. But if you were going to make a throw pillow with like an upholstery fabric, then you don't because it's thicker.
Yeah, 100%.
And is there a certain kind of interfacing you would use, or is it all just?
Well, what I've been using and what came in the kit is it's sort of a light to medium weight fusible non-woven, and it works great. I have tons of scraps of it, so you could even if you've got a bag full of scrap interfacing, you can just kind of iron them all on patchwork style. There we go. We're getting bigger here.
We have one friend that's saying you could quilt the bee wings and the body with a design and then just lines for the outer part.
Yeah. What about something like that?
Yeah.
You know,
little.
That's such a good idea. Okay, I'm just going to cut this so that it's together.
And Sandra's recommending you could use a coordinating pink, a solid or a small print.
I'm also going to pipe it. So I have cut the piping already.
I love piping.
Yes. Piping.
So pretty.
So pretty. Okay, I'm going to cut this. Where's my ruler and cutter? I'm going to do it over here where I've got my bigger mat.
Now, do most people know how to pipe? Like, is this something that you've showed in the past, Jen?
I've showed it lots of times, but I think people can always use a refresher on piping because it's not something you do like all the time. So I will show us how to pipe it. So Amanda, do you like, because here's the thing, we're all kind of on here because we like quilting. So sometimes, sorry, my back's like this way. So sometimes we aren't sewing those other kinds of projects that we can, you know, like the bag, the throw pillows, that kind of thing that can easily be done with our basic sewing techniques and definitely can be done on our sewing machine. But because we're so often doing quilting projects, sometimes we don't get to them. So piping is one of those things that you can easily do. Most machines come with a zipper foot, which is what I'm going to use for the piping. So if you have a zipper foot, you're going to want to, and you want to do this, you're going to want to get it out or find it, dig it out of the pile from wherever it is, and you can get it ready. And I'll show you guys how to do it in just a little bit.
I also like this in general. I want to try to put piping on a quilt, like around the binding.
Oh.
Well, like, I love the flange one.
Yes. And you can get all kinds of great with the exact same technique as piping, like, you know, that like pom-pom ribbon or the little tassel ribbon, all of that is super, super cute. And that could go in the binding too, to give you like a little ruffle or a little pom-pom effect all the way around your quilt. That would be so cute.
I have some like teeny tiny little pink pom-poms hanging around, just waiting for the right project.
Get them. Get them.
Yeah, they're so cute.
I mean, that's so cute.
Mm-hmm.
That would look, and you know what? I've done pillows before. I'm sure I've got one right back there I could put my hand on.
You do
where I've used those pom-poms as the piping.
Yeah.
And like on the actual pillow. And it's just so cute, especially for a kid's room or patio cushion. Yeah. Very, very super, super cute.
It is. It just elevates it. Like I've made a ton of throw pillows without piping, but I find like when you take the time to put the piping on, they just look even better.
Yeah. And now I'm not going to worry about the fact that I've got like some directional issues here. I don't care. I'm fine.
Yeah.
It's busy enough. It's wild enough that, you know, it's a scrappy project. I'm fine with that.
Bees don't fly in a straight line.
So you have to embrace that.
Exactly. Have people made pillows? Let us know if you've made your own pillow, if you've ever used a quilt block to make a pillow front. What's everyone up to out there?
If you've been in a few of our homemade events, you've probably made a pillow or two. Amanda did that awesome how to use your circle attachment class where we made pillows.
Every once in a while, I get another email with someone finishing them and showing them to me.
Aw, that's great.
They do such a great job.
Yeah, that's great. I love it when project, like when people always feel so guilty that it's taken them a while to finish. But I actually love seeing the posts of, you know, last year's quilt because I'm like, oh yeah, I love it so much. There it is. You know, I love that it keeps it alive, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to make pillows with my Lottie block as well. One of our friends was saying that. And like I wanted to make them as pillowcases, basically.
That would be so nice.
Oh yes, Donna did Amanda's circle class, of course. Perfect.
This week I bought another pattern by Penelope Handmade.
Oh yeah? What one?
It's oh my goodness, I don't remember what it's called. But I'm going to do on my TikTok account is I'm pricing out a quilt from start to finish. So material costs, then time put in and everything. And I loved her just her stuff. So I was like, I'll try one of her patterns, something super easy. Which one is it? It's the Madeline one.
Oh yeah, okay.
So, and
I love her patterns. They have in fact, the Lottie one is a little different for her. She has a lot of ones that look very homespun and, you know, so cute.
Oh, this Facebook user said that she or he has made several pillows, embroidering a design and then putting borders around it to make it big enough. And you could, if you wanted to do other little embroidered bumblebees or something on the sides of the pillow. Totally. It would look really cute.
Totally. Honestly, the more times you can incorporate your embroidery machine, the better.
Yeah.
You know what I've been finding is a lot of people are coming in the shop because the shop's now open in case anybody is in the area. Our grand opening, just so everyone knows, is going to be March 4th, Saturday. And the giveaways that companies have started sending they're arriving. So we've got some great stuff for grab bags for people who like the first, so many in the door or something like that we're going to do.
I'm going to be there first. I don't count.
Oh, we might be able to send you home with something.
You want to tell people where it is though?
It's in Kingston. I'm in Kingston, Ontario. So right off if you're ever coming down the 401, just nip off at Gardeners Road, and we are right across from Lowe's. And any of our new Kingston people that are watching, please leave us a comment obviously in the comments. Leave us a comment in the comments.
I want to give a shout out to Sandra, who is really embracing the scrappiness of this month. She mentioned that she had run out of something and really wanted to finish up, I think, the border of her quilt, she said. And she just found some pieces, pieced them together. And she said normally she'd go out and buy a big hump.
Atta girl.
So she's feeling environmentally friendly, and
that's good. And she's richer now, right?
Well,
now she's got, what I'll say is now she's got more money for other fabric.
Yeah, that's more of what I was thinking, was now she's got space on her shelf and money for other fabric.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever project.
You do feel a different sense of satisfaction when you use up your scraps. Like anybody who made the pouch last week, please, like, were you not kind of like, look what, like that feels brand new. It feels like I just, went out, spent a whole bunch and look what I created, but it's really, you didn't. So it's kind of got that extra.
I know this isn't a problem for many people, and I'm sure Jen will scoff at it, but too many scraps or leftover pieces for me actually paralyzes me from buying more. I know that's not her problem.
She's not a true quilter, that's why.
I have a whole cupboard full of yarn and I refuse to buy more until I've cleared most of it out. Like,
no,
I know it's not a common concern for people. So I think that it's great to be able to use up some of the scraps. I'm sure you can assume that I was really championing this scrappy event when we were discussing this year's projects.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I'm not going to put actual fusible interfacing, although you could. I'm just going to I've got like scrap batting here. I've got actually a pretty big piece. I might not have to like Franken sew any of this together anyway, although that is a good lesson. So we maybe should do before February is over, a little lesson, Amanda, on how to Franken stitch your batting. I may actually even have a YouTube video on that
from our Lottie.
Yeah, on how to Franken stitch the batting. Maybe we'll unearth that. And
I watched someone this week who didn't. They just laid the pieces out and basted them down. I was like, that is brave.
Now that's actually smarter, isn't it?
Well, it's just like, I'd be so afraid that they would shift apart. And
that was what I'd be afraid of, that it would shift. But hey,
but she was like, no, we're doing it.
So afraid. Maybe you can just go for it.
We got somebody volunteering to teach me how to spend some more money on fabric.
Yeah.
Jennifer is my sister. I'm sure she could find a way to get me. And now I have access to a shop constantly to buy stuff.
We're all like constantly in the store going like, what came in today? What came in today? Okay. I'm just going to cut this off into a more manageable size here. And then maybe we'll give the bees a couple little wings. And
Marie Agnes is saying that she likes to make a pillow from each quilt that she makes. So she made one with the Lottie. She made one with the Stargazer.
Nice.
And I'm wondering what will be the quilt for this year. We'll have to.
I know.
Not going to tease anything yet.
No, I know. We've been talking about the quilt. We've been talking. We've got some ideas.
I want to do all the quilts. Let's do 5 this year, Jen.
I think we're going to try to do 2. I think we're going to do one like coming up pretty soon. What do you guys think? Would you want to do another quilting event soon, or wait until the fall?
Amanda.
Yes.
Oh, this friend uses iron-on tape to fuse their batting together.
Oh, that's a good idea too, for sure.
Really good. Maybe you can do a compilation of options.
For sure. It's like if you have it and it works, like use it up.
Oh, see, somebody said they want to learn how to do the Lone Star, which I think you posted today. And
yeah.
I wrote on it, that's got to be my next quilt.
I know.
Love it.
So nice.
It's so beautiful.
I made one once for my friend's baby.
Oh, so a small size?
Yeah, it was like it was still pretty generous, but it was one of my favorites. And that child, like she's now 10, but like she loves all the things I make for her. And I love that child so. Because she's just like, can you make my panda bear pajamas? And I'm like, yes, I can.
Aww.
Like, do I know how? No, but we're gonna do it.
I know. When you find someone like that who like loves like the homemade stuff, I'm just getting a different thread. Yeah, keep making for them. For sure. I'm just switching my thread because I was using Deco Bob for the piecing. It's like I've become like a convert on certain threads for certain things. I used to just use whatever thread for whatever.
Yep.
Not anymore. So I'm switching to a 50 weight now. I'm going to use cotton to quilt this. But I had an 80 weight in for piecing, and everything lies just so much flatter and nicer with that smaller thread for the piecing. So I'm switching it over.
I should try this. I'm resistant to things like that because switching out my thread is just a lot of work.
I know it is, but once you start doing it.
So do you switch out your top thread and your bobbin?
Yeah.
What thread did you switch to, did you say?
I just switched to confetti.
Oh, okay.
So I probably should quilt this in like a pink, but if I'm going to do the wings a little something different, then I'm going to do that white.
What about any of that sparkly thread you have?
I know the
so
metallic.
nice.
There's lots of metallic threads downstairs. Sarah's been. Okay, so what's our vote on how to do the wings? Amanda, what do you think for the wings? We could do like, wavy, like kind of serpentine stitch, which is kind of cool. We could just do opposite lines to the way that we're going to quilt. I guess bee wings sometimes have like lines that kind of go diagonal and then kind of maybe cross. What do you think?
Or sometimes I think they're kind of lacy.
Yeah, that's true.
What thread did you use for piecing?
I used an 80 weight. If you want to find it on there, you can just put the link in the,
Sure.
or you can do it on your phone. It's if you go in the homemade shop, it's the 80 weight Deco Bob, like DECO BOB, Deco Bob. But you can't go off the screen. Okay, I guess Karen can see it. Karen, are you fine? You can still see?
Yep.
Okay. It's Deco Bob 80 weight, and it's super strong, but super thin. It means you don't get such a hump like when you this is lying super flat. When you fold it over and press, everything lays way flatter because you actually don't have to accommodate as much bulk with the thread. Believe it or not, the thread actually does add quite a bit of bulk. And so, I'm a convert for sure.
I use like 90 weight for paper piecing sometimes.
Yes, this is great for paper piecing, and it's the same kind of deal, Amanda, that like it's just that it doesn't not so much weight, and when you're paper piecing, obviously you want it to be thin so you can tear that paper off, right?
Yeah.
All right, I'm just going to do a little quilting here. Try not to cut the thread too much.
I'm dancing tonight. The music's in my head.
Did anyone else have a day that like felt like a stereotypical Monday? That's what I had today. Or I was like, oh, great. Okay, now this is wrong. Oh, great. Now I'm 2 hours behind. Oh, great.
I forgot to take the children to get their Valentine's Day cards this weekend, and all the stores were sold out. So I went to 8 stores today to try to piece together. So like all of my work time after I got my hair done was gone. I was like, that's great.
That's so annoying.
They're crafting it now. I'm like, you're making cards.
I should be texting my kids right now and saying like, are you doing your Valentines? Please have them done before I get there.
I left my husband at home to work on the Valentines with my 2 boys. So we'll see how that turns out.
They'll all just be signed like with their name. That's it. That's fine. Whatever.
I just watched my husband took one of the kids out to get more candy. I was like, do what you want. I was like, I got 1 candy per kid. And they're like, oh, I thought I was going to give them 2. I was like, well.
I thought I was going to give them 2 because I'm not giving them a Valentine.
They're making cards.
Yeah. Do you lock stitch when you start and stop when quilting?
Usually when you're quilting, you start off the edge. So in that case, no, because you're going to start over here and just make your way on. But when you start in the center, like I'm doing this wing here, I did, so that it was all locked in.
So that means you start, then you go backwards and then go again?
No, I
what'd
use
you
the
do?
little stitch that looks like a bullseye because
Oh.
I don't want to be going back and forth those 3 stitches because it's going to show. The bullseye or the lock stitch button, if your machine has it, is going to tie off the stitch. It's going to put 3 stitches in place and tie it off for you so that you don't have to back stitch. It's a nice feature. Lots of machines have it. And that's what you can use it for, is so that you don't have to backstitch.
Some people, though, don't like that it leaves a little boop on the bottom of your fabric sometimes.
It what?
Leaves a little boop.
Oh, yeah.
On the back of your fabric. So then other people will just bring up their bobbin thread to the top, stitch, and then bury those threads. I typically don't do that because that's a lot of work.
I know, I don't bury them either because I cannot get out a hand needle to
You can
save my
also
life.
instead just make your stitches really tiny when you start to sew and then make them bigger. So then those stitches will also hold everything in place.
Yeah.
So one of our Facebook users is wondering, just to confirm, that the higher the number, the thinner the thread.
That's right. That's right. It totally messes with you.
It's weird.
That's why I totally feel like that's why people don't understand thread, is because they've done that wacky crap with the numbers and made the numbers go higher as it gets thinner.
And then the needles are confusing.
I know, and the needles are also super confusing.
Also, I don't really even know overly how to change my selections on my machine. Like, I feel like I need not just like a 101 of like how to sew. I need to understand the like details about the machine buttons and like which one makes my stitch longer, which one makes it shorter.
You need sewing 101.
But even below that, I think.
No,
sewing 100.
Yes, exactly. Okay, so I did some just straight diagonal lines on the bees. I'm going to use in my decorative stitches here to go across the yellow part of the bee, like the bee's body. I'm going to use a serpentine stitch, which is just a wavy line. And I'm going to go across. And I can't spend all night quilting this or we'll never get to installing the zipper or the piping. Right, you guys?
Yeah.
What happens if you don't have a lock stitch on your machine?
You can just backstitch. You can.
All right. Yeah, I do. I do need sewing preschool, but it's like the sewing itself I'm not so bad at because I've now like gone through the ringer with a number of quilts that I've made. It's like, but that's just because it's a straight stitch and it's as easy as can be. And, you know, I haven't had to adjust too much, but you're right. I do.
Well, you want to know what? That's the thing with sewing. You learn as you go so many, like sometimes just simple things that just haven't come up before. Like, you know, like you said, how to make your stitch wider or more narrow or move your needle over. Sometimes we just don't do those things because often, especially when we're first starting, we tend to do the same things over and over until we're kind of like, yeah, I can do it. And then, you know, our machines are probably capable of much, much more. So yeah, I'd encourage you guys to try it. All right, I'm going to go to my decorative stitches now, and I'm going to try to find stitch 60. Which
Look,
is like
I made a bee head.
Oh, nice. You're following, you went along with it.
Show me,
Her
show
bee
me.
head.
Aww. That's great.
So that didn't take too long. You started doing that right now, Amanda?
Yeah, I thought like the things cut out. So I was like, we'll do this while Jen's making the pillow.
Yeah, that's good. All right, decorative stitch. Oh, 66. That's what I need.
Yeah, one of our users is saying, don't be afraid to experiment. It's true because, yeah, how else are you going to kind of increase the different types of projects you can use that beautiful fabric with?
Yeah, I mean, how else are you going to break all your needles if you don't experiment?
Yeah, and quilts are a commitment. Sometimes you just want to use that nice fabric on something smaller or a quicker project.
Totally. We hear people all the time say, oh, I don't want to cut into that fabric. I don't want to, you know, and it's like, if you think the fabric will look good on a project, use it. Like that's my vote. All right.
And then I just keep on buying more of the stuff that I really like. Like I will fall in love with a fabric and only have bought like a yard or two, and then I keep buying more. Like I love these tulips are like some of my favorites right now. And I will buy, anytime I can find them, I will buy more of them because it's just like the prettiest low volume.
I love that. That's so cute. And that's the thing. When you find something like that that you really, really love, use it in projects. Don't just let it, die on your shelf, because part of the fun of sewing is buying the fabric.
Well, and then like your taste changes so quickly. So
Yeah.
like there's fabric that I loved and loved and loved, and now I'm like, that's hideous. And I wouldn't use it in anything.
Right.
Again, it's not really hideous, but it's just like my taste has changed, and so I'm not into it. And if I had held onto it, then it's just kind of sitting in my stash forever now because I don't want to use it.
Yeah. And not only that, you always end up finding something new that you love. And it's fun to be able to, make the projects with what you've got and then go ahead and be able to like get some new stuff, because there's always more to love, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this wavy line on this bee is the cutest.
Well, hurry up so we can see
I know. Well, I'm getting it just right.
So people that are making this block, I'm finding, because there's so much stitching on the diagonal, I definitely need to use a leader because it gets sucked in.
Oh, I should have given you that tip.
Yeah.
I used the leader big time when making the bees. It was actually essential because you're drawing lines down and doing all of those kind of corner type pieces. The leader fabric. You're absolutely right, Amanda.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone not know what a leader fabric is? We should tell people what that is. It's basically like when you take a scrap of fabric, put it under your needle before you start sewing, and sew on it, and then don't cut it, and then bring what you're actually working on to your machine. And then it kind of engages everything and gets it all going so that you don't run the risk of your fabric getting caught down in your stitch plate.
I use the same one over and over and over again.
And over. I know, and it gets so thick with thread.
But there's like leaders and ender projects where you cut specific things and you just use them every time you sew. And while you're sewing, you end up with a quilt already pieced. Something to do.
All right, one more line here, and then I'm going to show you my quilting.
Kittens Cozy Creations says they use a leader and an ender.
Oh, ender?
Yeah.
Do you use enders, Amanda? I never used an ender.
Yeah, like sometimes, and that just becomes your new leader. So if you're bad at remembering to start with a leader, so if you just end your seam with it, it also stops you from like going off the edge at the end.
Right.
Sometimes you end up pulling a little bit weird. So if you have an ender under the foot, it's going to give you a straighter line.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
One of our friends here is saying that they love the whale song fabric. They purchased the fat quarter in stock here on the weekend.
Oh,
I might have been the one that rang you through because somebody did purchase one of those with me. And honestly, people are loving that
They
fabric.
love that fabric for
They
sure.
love that fabric.
Okay, I'm going to hold this way up. Can we see it?
Tilt it a little so we can get the angle. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's pretty. I love it.
I think the bee wings need a little extra on going the other way, but you guys at this point know how to do that. So why don't I move on to installing the zipper and doing the piping, because those are two techniques that will help you if you want to turn your scraps into a pillow like this. So let's start with the piping. And what I've got here is, what else do I have here? I have a little roll of like twine. I cut 2-inch strips, and basically exactly like you would put together a quilt binding. I cut them on the diagonal, and I sewed them together so that I wouldn't have a lump. So there's a seam. So this is just like from a fat quarter. I just cut them and piece them all together so I'd end up with a super long strip. And you've got a choice. You can either put some cording, like, a piece of rope, something like that, in the actual, I'm just going to get a piece. I had some twine out there, but I think I don't know where it went to.
You can even use that yarn. You can use
Yes.
almost anything.
So this is the rope we've been using to make rope bowls. This I feel like is a bit thick, and I wouldn't want to waste it necessarily on the inside of something because it's kind of too useful at the moment because I love making rope bowls so much. But I'm going to show you because cording is quite similar, but you can get it in a bit smaller size. So what you're going to do for piping is take your piece and your big long piece of rope or whatever it is you're going to use. You can even use a really skinny piece of twine, or you can use nothing. You can just literally fold it over. But that's what you're going to do is fold it over. Fold it over. And then we're going to switch to the zipper foot here. Please let the zipper foot be in here. I don't think that's the right size. Maybe. No. Why do I lose all my sewing machine feet? It's because I underneath the cache downstairs, the bottom drawer, there's like a box that says Janome and it's full of feet. I'll steal it from there. Really below 7, but that's what's good about multiple machines. They're interchangeable. Anyway, so what's going to happen here is you're going to sew fairly close to the actual rope. And that's where the zipper foot comes in handy because it lets you get super, super close. And then when you're going to actually attach your piping to your project, just like with binding, you're going to go raw edges together right along the edge. And if you're experienced at doing binding, then maybe you don't have to sew it ahead of time. You can just sew it all in one step and kind of save yourself that extra step. Thank you. Now, zipper foot. There we go. This is the box of accessories. It's so good. That comes with the M7. And I'm constantly robbing it.
What were the dimensions of the side of the extension? Sorry, did you say already? Somebody's just asking.
Of this?
The sides, the extra.
So a standard size, like for most pillow forms, is like 18 by 18 or 20 by 20. You can kind of get away with that 2-inch spread because the pillows will squish in. So the block measures 14.5 by 14.5 when it's done and trimmed up. So I added another like 4.5 inches on each side, but I'm going to square this up so that it measures 20 by 20. So I'm not ready to sew this on yet. I still need to square that up. I'm just going to show you how with the zipper foot I do this piping. So with the zipper foot in the middle, you're going to leave about 1.5 inches or 2 inches. You're going to start about that far down the line. It's because at the end, we're going to need this flap so that we can hide our seam. So we want to make sure we're starting, we don't have to like unpick that at the end. So even 2 inches down, you can start. Amanda, do you sew your piping like, do you do this line of stitches first, or you just go ahead and put it right on your project?
No, I do it step by step. So I would make the piping first, and then I attach it to the front of the pillow. Yeah. And then I do it a third time with the backing on.
Yeah. Oh, even then.
Yeah, because I like to make sure that it's perfect around the corner.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
The piping is where you will see your sewing experience.
Yes.
Yeah. Because loose piping looks a little like
floppy.
Yeah, not so good. Not so good.
But the biggest tip I have is like every time I go around, so when I make the piping and then when I move it to the top and then when I put the back on, I move my needle a couple clicks closer to the actual cord. So it's getting it a little tighter each time.
Yes, each time. Don't start super close to your cord. If you start too close to your cord, your stitches will end up showing potentially on your actual project. So I'm just going to stop here so that you can see. Maybe we can like zoom right in. Start for the beginning part right along the actual, like just a 1/4 inch even over from, is that, can we get closer? No, maybe not. A 1/4 inch, like a 1/4 inch from your edge. And then when you attach it, you can go over a little bit more. And then when you put your back on, you can really go over, because you do not want the piping stitches to show if your, your back and front pull away a little bit. That's a giveaway for sure. I've learned that, very much the hard way.
And there are specific piping feet that hold the cord into place.
Ooh, I do not have that.
So there's a couple that Janome has. I don't know if I have them right here.
Do you actually have them? Oh, that's good. I do not have those.
Let me see. I was using them the other day. No. Yes, I do have one. I have all the things. Okay,
yeah, let's see.
So there's a 9mm piping foot, but you can get them in different sizes for the different machines. And on the bottom are these grooves that hold your cord in place. So then you can get that cord's going to stay exactly where you want it. And it's actually, with the instructions on it, it shows you how to do it. But also, like, you use one groove to make your piping, and then you use the other groove to attach it. So it's a really cool foot.
That is
and
cool.
We also now have one that has a different groove width on the bottom too. I like using it, but your zipper foot works really well. It's just the groove on the bottom is going to keep everything lined up perfectly.
How big a cord do you think you can get in there?
I've done really fat cords. Like I used it. This is like 1/2 inch, but it's really soft, so it's worked really well. But like you can even get the other piping one that we have is teeny tiny. So I have like this is like a hemp cord.
Yep.
But it's like 2mm, so you can use it in that. And so especially when you have a teeny tiny cord, having those grooves is so nice.
Yeah, that would really be helpful.
Yeah, or if you just use slippery fabric, like I used like a mesh, and that's horrendous to work with in general. But when you have those grooves, it's going to help keep everything together.
Yes, there's a new Janome 9mm piping foot.
Oh.
And then someone's asking if you have the narrow zipper AccuFeed foot for the M7.
Yes, I do. And I could use that here for sure. Yeah. Yeah. That would be even more helpful, because it's going to help like bring it along as we go, the zipper foot for the AccuFeed for sure.
But when you start getting into big ones, like you're using a pretty substantial cord there, your best bet is the zipper foot.
Yeah, exactly. I sent around an email today for all of you who are registered for the Scrappy event, to give you a couple extra ideas of things that you can be making with your scraps. In today's email, we put out the zippered heart pouch, which would be, a very easy make. You've got until tomorrow night, maybe for a Valentine, you could put together a little pouch. The tutorial is in the email that went out. The other thing I was going to show you was how to use, while I'm sewing this, how to use scraps to patch, let's say, a hole in your jeans, Or even if you didn't have a hole in your jeans, you could use any of your scraps in kind of a cool way to just make your jeans a little more decorative. Let me show you the video that I did for this, because this is kind of a cool way to use up your scraps. So here's how I did this Dresden patch on my old jeans that I wanted to cover this rip. Now you could just use plain squares, but hey, we're sewers, we're quilters, we can up the ante. So I decided to do the Dresden plate. That's a die, but I just cut it out with my regular rotary cutter. Those first ones were a little too long, so I just cut them a little bit shorter. And to make the Dresden plate, you're gonna put right sides together on each one of those petals and press so that you've got that fold mark. And you're gonna sew straight across the edge. It might think that you have to sew in a point, but no, if you sew straight across like that and just chain them, it does not look so nice. Chain them together. I like to cut with my little blade on the side of my machine, and then put them inside out. That point automatically forms. Press them again, little steam, and aha, now you can see it coming together. Next step, sew them together. So each one of those little petals, right sides together, we're gonna sew using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Sew 2 together at a time, then the 4 together. And again, 1/4 inch seam allowance, just like with quilting. And the more you sew together, eventually your circle will come together. Look at that. And look, I didn't even sweat it that I put 2 orange side by side. I'm really growing as a person. All right, we just need a circle for the center there. I just outlined my thread, that seam, or my thread spool, that worked. Remember, you're gonna wanna have some heat and bond or some sort of iron-on adhesive on the back to make this easier to sew onto your jeans. I could have put that on all my little pieces before I cut them out. That would have been smart too. But I just put it on at the end, that's fine. Then I brought it to my sewing machine. I put it around the seam of my jean because I kind of thought it'd look fun on the side. And there you go. This is such a great, cool use of scraps. You could add just some square patches so that everything looks coordinated. Cute, right? I love an old school Dresden plate, and I feel like it just has kind of a new modern life on the edge of your jeans like that. And something kind of cool,
So
I laughed so loud when you talked about how you're growing as a person, leaving those 2 colors together. Like, I laughed so loud.
Because you know it's true, right? Like normally be like, how did I end up with 2 that have to be side by side? I was like, that's fine. It's scrappy. Scrappy, this whole event has been really good for me to like just, embrace the scrappiness, embrace that it might, in the end it's gonna look fine. It doesn't have to be like totally perfectly coordinated, right?
Yeah, you like curated scrappy.
I do. I do want to curate my scraps as noted on this pouch.
Or like the Lottie.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
You just okay, to be ready.
So, I want to make sure that this is fitting the pillow form that I have, which is 20 by 20. So I'm putting it down here, and I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, we're good. So if I'm taking like my kind of the center of my B here, let me just measure what I've got here to cut off. So that's 20, this is 24, 25, about 26. So 13 should be my middle around. Yeah, it looks a little more like 14. So I'm gonna trim up probably so that we have 20 around I want 10 inches kind of like coming up here, so I can have another 10 on that side. I'm just going to make sure I have enough. Too much junk in the way. Yes, I do. I always am watching these videos of sewers that have like, other sewers that also do videos. Like, that's also my job. How come I don't have a nice, clean, perfectly cleared off desk the way they do in their videos?
No.
Maybe they edit those videos.
Yeah, like
and put things away.
But I edit videos. I still like.
Yeah, but you don't put things away.
I know. I need to just put them
the
away.
Key point of that statement.
I know. I need to put them away.
No,
seriously.
But here,
and you have to find them again.
Yeah, you got to find them again. You got to get your hand to them when you cut off too much fabric and you need to redo it or whatever.
No,
exactly. Where's my seam ripper? Darn it.
Exactly. Screw them.
Yeah, keep it out. Put it away when you're all done. The dining room table will be covered with fabric until you're all done.
Exactly. Deal with it, husbands.
The robot vacuum will break as it goes over all the threads.
It will, actually.
Yeah.
So many times.
It will. All right. Trimming off. It looks so nice squared up, eh? I love that feeling when you kind of get the...
Yes.
One person suggesting you get an assistant to clear up for you.
Oh, trust me. That's all they do all day. Poor Amanda.
She needs an assistant.
I know. Amanda's like, you think you could pick up after yourself ever? No, she never
No.
says that. I know.
I walked into a meeting last week, like pulling threads off of my sweater. It's like, oh, sorry.
I know. This is the life, right? This is not straight. Hold on. Well, maybe it is. Oh no, his eyes are showing here, but not here.
Charlotte says the others have live warriors, or are not live warriors like you.
I know.
They have time to edit. You just go ahead and do stuff.
That's right. And it is like, you know, I have told many people, if you want to screw something up, sew it live on TV. if you want to wreck your project.
Do you think it's made you better because
No.
you're sewing live? Oh, I thought maybe being under the gun.
Oh, well, I don't know. I go live so often. Sometimes I just think like I always suck, like I always ruin it, but that's just because I'm sewing live so often. When I actually get to sit and do it, sometimes I do surprise myself, like, oh hey, this is actually turning out.
Threads everywhere. That's just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some of my lines tonight are questionable because I'm like half watching. I'm looking back at the camera, looking at my sewing machine.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's scrappy sewing.
Yep. All right, so I'm just squaring this up. Almost done. Taking off. Basically, when you do yours, you'll take off whatever you need to kind of get to 20 by 20. And like I said, you can do 18 by 18 also. Sometimes I think that's better because then your pillow kind of squishes in a little bit more. And it's just like a firmer pillow.
If you're using a polyfill, always make it smaller than you think.
Yeah.
And if you're using a feather pillow, I find they hold up a little bit more.
So this one's poly, so maybe I should take off another inch or so on each side because.
But I also sit on my pillows. Like
what's that?
My pillows, they get sat on, like
or
like leaned against,
flattened out immediately.
Yeah.
So I am gonna, even though it's gonna take more time, I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry. Just do it right the first time.
That's right. I want to make sure I want to take it off the right. I can hear Amanda's sewing machine ticking away there. Sorry. Who else is sewing while they're watching? Or are people watching and then they'll sew later once they don't have to like look up, you know?
It's fun to do a sew along.
Yeah.
It feels like you're cutting off a lot of what you've just added on.
No, there's still tons.
So there's still tons? Okay.
Yeah, there's still tons. But here's the thing, do what's right for the actual project. Like, if you added it and you need to take it off, it's fine. But there's still quite a bit here. The other thing that doesn't hurt is for your width to be an inch or so longer than the height. And that's because if you're going to add a zipper, this is going to actually add about another inch to the height of your fabric or of your pillow. So it's no big deal if you want to have it be an inch or so wider than it is tall.
Yes. Liz says she sews later. She's too tired. She did a lingerie sewing retreat all weekend.
Oh, nice, Liz. For anyone who did our bra making last year, that's Liz. That's who you're talking to there. Sarah's doing her bra right now.
Yeah, I just have the straps to add, Liz. I finally got to it.
That's good.
But I'm making 2 at the same time. So I have 2 bras to add the straps to, but I'm kind of even better than just needing
There you go.
straps. Yeah, because
I haven't done that yet. Like I haven't made any bras or underwear yet. I need to try. Me too.
Yeah, it's it's more doable than you think, Amanda.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you're like us where it's like, should I, shouldn't I?
Well, my friend, she's just outside of Philadelphia, and she does a lot of like bra sewing. And the place that she gets all the supplies is right by me in Hamilton. So one day I took a picture of me standing outside of the store. She's like, I hate you. I was like,
Aw.
And I was like, I haven't even been in there, but there it is.
That's funny. She was fangirling and there you were.
Yeah. If you're making the beat, like anytime I need to trim things off, I use my scissors. So if like I've stitched a square onto the edge, but I need to trim off the excess, I use my scissors because life is short and it doesn't matter what that seam allowance looks like because you're going to flip it open. So usually,
yeah, I was using my scissors too for that. I used to only use like the rotary cutter and get out the ruler, and it's like, no one's going to see this. I can cut just straight across.
That's right.
I want to give you a tip when you're adding your piping. If you're going to do a pillow like this and you're adding your piping, you're going raw edges together. And when you get to the corner, you could give it a little snip.
You just move it so you're on the camera.
Oh, sorry.
There we go. Okay.
You could give it a little snip. Don't go too far in.
So don't cut the cording.
Don't cut the cording. It's okay to cut your stitch, but basically so that it can take that corner. And you're going to want to, as your piping goes along, like pull it along so that it doesn't get too wrinkly. And if you have to give it a snip in a couple of places, that's how you get it to take the curve. And like, see if here how it's starting to like kind of bunch up. Like that doesn't look great. So we want to make sure as we're sewing along there that we're pulling that fabric so that it's as like tight as we can get it. Amanda, any tips for other than sewing on the bias, I guess?
Yeah, like if you cut your binding on the bias, it's a little bit easier to go around that corner.
Yeah.
But like this is why I do everything each step so that I can stop and fiddle with it instead of worrying about blindly doing it and hoping for the best.
It's true, because if we had the backing of the pillow on right now, we wouldn't be able to see how bunched up that was really getting.
Yeah.
So when I start sewing around, when I get to that part, I'll be free to like pull it so that it's like nice and taut and, you know, has a bit more of a crisper like fold.
Yeah. And definitely like feel free to stop, take it off, fiddle with it, put it back on. Yeah. Or the pivot function is great. Like so that the foot's going to come up, your needle's down, so you can move it a little bit too.
And clips really help here as opposed to pins. Because you can clip, like, see how like tight and nice that clip can get to the piping there?
Yes.
That really helps.
And you can also, if you're nervous, is baste it on first.
Oh yeah.
And then go back and sew.
Boy, do you really baste?
I do.
I hate when patterns say baste. I'm like, really? Sew it twice? But I know that's why things turn out better.
Well, yeah. Like when I was adding my zipper for my pouch, I often baste one side on, like the front on to the zipper, and then stitch the back on. So I know that the front is in place.
Right. So I'm going to just start sewing here and come down so you guys can take a look. We probably won't finish this entire pillow on this live because we'll be here until like 10:30 if that was the case. So now I'm going to just sew a smidge further in. So you could put it on your 1/4 inch if you were right along the edge. And you'd be you want to be on basically to the left of the stitches you just put in.
Does anybody have any questions about adding the piping?
I think everyone's just watching. All right, I'm at the corner. The snip marks I made because I pulled so much are kind of over a little bit now, so that's fine. I'm just gonna make a couple more snips. And I'm gonna take this nice and slow, and I'm just kind of tugging, not on the rope so much as I am the fabric that's around the rope. And I'm just going to let myself sew straight.
What? There's many, many questions. It is a little hard to see how you're sewing right now.
I know the shots are a little wide. I think if Karen maybe you can tip that camera so we can get in a bit wider. Okay, so I'm just pivoting at this point.
Pivot.
Oh, careful, because she's live on this shot. Maybe we'll go to me and then we can, yeah. There we go, pivot. And I'm just gonna try to, like Amanda said, do my best to scooch this down. And maybe Amanda, maybe you're right. I'm gonna just backstitch a little bit here so I can cut the scissors and then make it take the corner so that I can pull it a little bit more.
Now, once you start pulling, if you notice that your snips weren't right in the right spot, you would just resnip.
Yeah, I just put more snip marks in. Yeah. So I'm going to put a clip so it's super tight here, and then pull it so it's super tight here, and just try to have like as smooth as I possibly can.
Karen, I found that when Jen showed me how to do piping, a couple of years ago now. Remember when we did my bench pillows? And she showed me how to do it on one pillow. And then when she still lived in Markham, she went back to Markham and I continued on. And it's actually incredibly easy. Like I had no problems continuing on. I mean, granted, I did have her there to show me how to do the first one, but definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, it's definitely not like hard work or anything like that. Like you just have to follow the steps, and
it certainly elevates the pillow though.
Yeah. It does allow you to kind of be like, oh, this looks like not so much of a homemade pillow, you know?
I did some in different fabric and I did some with the same fabric as the pillow, and both looked great. It just really finished it off.
Okay. So we haven't gone all the way around the pillow, but I'll show you. So we're starting. See how we've got this, it's a little far away at this point. Like, do we have a close up here? Can we go to the side camera, or is it not showing? There we go. So it's a little far away, the piping, but once we get that last row of stitches, it's going to go right close to that piping. And then when you turn it over, you're not going to see, you're not going to see anything at all. Look at how nice it's going to look.
So you'll stitch again on that side, not?
No, I'll stitch again when I put the backing fabric on.
Okay.
What's wrong? Okay. So basically you're going to continue around. What time is it? How are we doing? 8:16. All right. Well, we should really get to the zipper. Now you can put the zipper on top of the piping and the piping in the middle of the zipper. Amanda, do you do that kind of thing? Or do you not pipe where the zipper is?
I just refuse to install a zipper with piping.
Oh, really? You can do it. You can do it.
Actually, I think I did it for pillows for my mom because I love her a lot. But typically, I avoid putting in two things at the same time. So if I put piping in, then I just do an envelope back.
Oh, I see. I see. Well, I always do piping and a zipper. And
look at you. Fancy.
Well, I didn't really think that it was that big a thing, really. You're just going to want to like put the zipper down.
Yeah.
And it depends on where you want the zipper to fall.
Yeah.
But put your piping down and then you're going to lay your zipper down. But make sure you do the piping part first, just like we have been doing. So maybe I should go all the way around. How's everyone doing? Are we hanging in here or should I move it along? Amanda?
I'm fine.
So I've just chosen like a coordinating zipper here. I've got zipper tape. You guys know how to do a zipper pretty much at this point, how to extend it because we did it last week. And so you're going to go ahead and lay I'm not going to do it all right here. If anybody is really desperate for the instructions to come, like we can continue it next week, but I don't want to keep you guys much past like an hour and a bit. So the piping goes all the way around. So it'll be tacked down kind of like this. And then you're going to put your zipper right side down, raw edges together. And you're going to sew pretty much as close as you possibly can to those zipper teeth. And it's going to kind of roll over like that. Is that how you do it, Amanda? Or would you put the piping like on the back? Well, we have to do it on the front because that's how we've already done it.
I think someone commented, and this is exactly what I did, is they started putting the zippers down the back center. I didn't do that, but I attached a chunk of the backing and then installed a zipper in the middle, like closer to the top, maybe 1.5 inches down.
That's a good idea. I'm going to use this fabric for my back because I have a extra
that's
back
pretty
quarter so that it kind of coordinates. So it's the same as the pink, it's just in the green.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought it would look funky. So I definitely don't want to interrupt it with the zipper. So, I'm going to take my chances and install it in the back. And maybe that's what I should do.
You definitely want the piping down first, then put the zipper.
Yeah.
It's just a little finicky at first.
For sure. And I'm going to want to put a zipper tab on the ends of my zipper also, just like I did last week with the pouch. Someone's asking, where do you get the zippers on a roll? These were an old purchase. We do have some zippers coming to the shop, like a whole zipper bar. We've left a wall blank for the zipper bar. And there's going to be lots of zipper pulls and lots of zippers, but they're on their way. Right now we have some zippers. I don't think they're online. I think you can only get them if you come into the store. But yeah, zipper tape is great because then you can basically make it any size.
And Sharon's asking what about the pulls?
These pulls are already on here. So make sure you've got a pull on your zipper. I've just got a matching zipper pull. So maybe you're not seeing it on the camera. Okay. So when you're laying down your zipper, you're going to go right side down on whatever side you're doing, and then bring it over, and you're just going to sew it along. And then you're also going to want to top stitch, just like we did with the pouch. So that will be the next step in putting the pillow together. I hate to kind of wrap it without totally finishing. but we're at 8:21, so we've already been on over like 20 minutes over the time that we really should have wrapped. But if anyone has any questions about how to finish off the pillow, please leave them in the group, and I will get back to you on how to, you know, finish off whatever technique you're doing. And I will post my finished pillow tomorrow or the next day as I finish up the quilting and all of that, so that you guys can get a nice close-up of it. Sound good, Amanda? Sounds like a plan?
It does. And look, just sec.
Tell me.
Just sec.
She's a busy bee working over there.
I am a busy
Oh my
bee.
gosh, do you have your bee done? Let me guess. Oh, wow, I love it.
And
I
he's
love
all
your little
scrappy.
extra blues. Yes.
Yeah, because like I didn't have enough blue, and I was like, I'm not cutting into yardage. Not allowed. So
yes,
I just
not allowed.
made it work.
Not allowed.
As long as the value of blues work together, I don't think it matters. It's like mottled sky.
Love it. Love it. Very, very good. Honestly, the bees have been really fun. I love that we can kind of create these, like, you know, an actual something. So often it's a star or a square or something, but this is like a little cozy,
So cute
bee. Yeah. It's going to look great. I'm going to finish this up, and maybe we'll display. I mean, we still have a few months before it like gets like nice weather where I bring this home. So I'll display this in the shop. So if anyone's coming in, they'll be able to see our bee pillow on display by the fabric. At least it'll be a little like, look what you can make.
And if you can't find it, it's because Jen has it behind the counter having a nap.
I know. That's true. That's so funny. Oh, thanks for being here, Amanda. I really appreciate it. All your advice and insight, and I'm loving your hair.
Thank you. Thank you. It's great to be here.
All right, everybody. We'll see you all next week. Same time, same place. We are doing the tulips next week. We're doing a table runner. So if you're wanting to get ahead, you can start making a couple of tulip blocks. And yeah. Oh, so we do need to talk about, now Karen's going to hear this. Next Monday is Family Day, but I'm scheduled on Tuesday to speak at a quilting guild around town here. So I was going to move it to Tuesday, but can't. So I am still going to do it Monday night, and we'll work out who is behind the camera and stuff like that. So we'll still be here, even though it's Family Day, next Monday at 7 p.m. So we'll see you then. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.
Bye.